Hey, welcome to your midweek microdose, where I share just little bits of information that I find funny, interesting, or even potentially life changing. If you don't know me well, my name is Kayla Cohn, and I am a certified clinical hypnotherapist and mindset specialist. So, this is the work that I do all day long, every day. So, today I thought we would talk about praising our kiddos. So, most importantly, avoiding praising attributes. So, attributes are things that are uncontrollable and a label that they could attach to themselves. So, examples of this would be something like, you're so smart, you're so talented, you're so pretty, you're so good at this. In sports, it might be something like, you're a really good batter, you're a really good pitcher, those kinds of things. And it may seem really harmless in the moment, right? Like, what's the harm in telling them, oh my gosh, you're a really great pitcher. Oh my gosh, you're so smart. I'm just kind of trying to pump them up, right? But what this does is it begins to sort of intertwine with part of their identity. So it might feel really good in the moment to share something like this with them. But if they begin to identify with being smart or being talented or being good at this one thing, being a good hitter or a pitcher, well, when they inevitably show up, to a competition or where they're sitting next to somebody who's maybe seemingly a little bit smarter than them in a particular subject or whatever it is, they become less concerned about challenging themselves and growing and more about protecting that identity, right? And it also creates this sort of burden of talent or burden of this identity where there's this sort of pressure to perform every time because their value is in being talented or being good at this. And so not only does that extra pressure that they're putting on themselves make it less likely for them to perform well whenever they really need to, it actually can make them respond more emotionally whenever they inevitably do perform poorly, right? Because it's not just a bad moment that's happened or, an interaction with someone who maybe was a little bit better than them. What happens is it becomes like this attack on their value, on their identity. So they may begin to wonder, maybe I'm not actually good enough. If I'm not good as a hitter or whatever, then maybe I'm not actually good enough. And we don't want that to begin to really impact their value. So instead, we want to begin to complement the controllable, right? Things we can control. So like work ethic, like effort. So we're talking specifically about after a good event, right? Not telling them that they're really good at this, that they're so talented, but instead letting them know how proud you are of them, on how hard they worked, on, how they were as a teammate, how they were as a friend, those kinds of things. So that it is, again, things that they can control, the work ethic and that kind of thing. The same would also be true for a situation where maybe things don't go all of that well. So you still want to support them and compliment them on the things that you saw that went well. You don't want to lie, right? Kids can sniff that out a million miles away. So if they didn't bat well, you don't want to be saying to them, "Oh, I don't know what happened. You seem to bat really well, to me," because they know that that's not true. Instead, you can again compliment. You can say, "I don't really know what happened up there, right? We have our good days, we have our bad days, we have our ups and downs, but I know that you worked really hard, you practiced really hard, you did everything right. So things, could have gone well, and today just wasn't our day." And then you can spend some time putting a plan of action in place for the next time so that maybe things do go better that time. And so when you spend this time, going about it this way, again, complementing the controllable, this can be a complete game changer for your kiddo. You go from a kid whose identity is being good and being talented and afraid to fail. Like, how many of us, I know for me, I'm afraid to fail. How many of us are afraid to fail? So instead, you go from somebody whose identity is that where they're afraid to fail, where instead failure just becomes a fact of life. So you've got a kid where failure is a fact of life, but they know that their value is in their work ethic, in the kind of teammate they were, in controlling the controllables, so that they're being encouraged to stretch themselves and to find new ways to grow. So I think you can probably see how this will really help to avoid some of those really emotional triggers where they have those bad days. And instead, you're going to have a kiddo who can easily manage those, again, those inevitable sort of failures, and instead have a kiddo who will grow faster. So I hope this information is helpful. I really encourage you to give that a whirl and see, what the difference of that is, how it feels different, how they have these opportunities to grow where their value is in the hard work that they put in really the kind of human that they're being, and not so much these uncontrollable things like, again, pitching or being smart or being beautiful or whatever those things are that we think we're pumping our kids up for, where in the end can kind of provide some hurt. So I hope this is helpful. Again, I really encourage you to have some fun talking about, really pumping them up over the things that they can control and not so much the uncontrollable. So again, I hope this is helpful. I hope you give it a whirl. If you do give it a whirl, I hope you share, any thoughts or insights or things that come out of that experience. I always love to hear it. So have a great day.